This is important no matter the size of your business. If you are selling 4 loaves a week or if you're selling 100 loaves a week, it doesn't matter. You are still a business and you still should be mindful of presenting a professional image. So approach every interaction as an opportunity to build a relationship. These customers are not just people buying your bread. They are humans. They are bringing this food that you have lovingly baked back home to nourish their families. Make sure that they know that you were really thankful for them and you value them choosing to come back to you. Welcome to the Breadwinner Podcast. This is the show for microbakery owners who want to grow a business that is thriving, profitable, and sustainable without sacrificing your sleep or your sanity. I'm your host, Caroline Bauer, and we are here today to talk about the very exciting topic of acquiring your first raving fan and making sure they stay around. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why a loyal customer is so important, how to understand the customer that you're looking to attract, how to create an offer that they can't pass up, how to promote that offer strategically so that it gets in front of the right people, how to provide excellent customer service, and then finally, how to maintain an ongoing relationship with your customers. Before we dive in, I'm going to share a little bit about my personal story and how I acquired my first customers. And then we'll go through the 5 steps that I've just outlined. When I was first beginning my business, I didn't really know where the business was heading. I didn't even know if I was trying to start a business, but I knew that I had a lot of extra loaves of bread and I couldn't stop baking. It was bringing me so much joy and I wanted to share them somehow. I had seen a lot of other bakers post on social media and gain some traction. And so I decided to give it a try. But rather than putting a post out and saying, hey, I have some bread for sale, it's $10. I put a post in a local Facebook group, an area specific group that allows businesses to promote. But my first post was not a promotional businessy post. In my very first post, I shared a picture of the bread that I had just pulled out of the oven and I posed a question. So off the bat, a question is going to spark conversation. It's going to draw people in rather than just saying, here's my product, it's for sale. So my question was something along the lines of, hey, my baking habit is getting out of hand. We're running out of freezer space. What do you suggest I do with my extra load? I knew that a farmer's market or a local market was an option. So I said, aside from a market, what are some ideas? And that was it. I didn't offer anything for sale. I just posed that question and left it there. Some of them had really helpful suggestions, things like get involved in a local market, which I knew was an option, or donate to a local food bank. But about 50 people said that they wanted to buy the bread, which I really was not anticipating, but I think my experience is not an isolated one. I think it's something similar to what a lot of people have experienced. And so from there, I had those 2 loaves that I had just pulled out. And so the first couple people who commented, I arranged to meet up with them and gave them the loaves at a discounted rate. And then I very quickly was like, well, this has legs. Let's see where it'll go. So that conversational post sparked so much engagement and so much interest in what I was doing. So from there, I sent a message to everyone who said that they wanted to buy. And pretty quickly, I set up an ordering platform. I used free Google Sheets to get started so that I could point people to a link rather than just saying DM me to buy. I didn't want the overwhelm and the responsibility of keeping track of a lot of messages because very quickly my inbox got really full. And I knew that it was just a very short matter of time before I would be letting people slip through the cracks. So because I wanted to provide a good experience, even if I didn't know exactly where it was heading, I wanted from the very start to make sure that I was setting myself up to take care of the people well. And for me, that was using an ordering platform. Looking back, I probably would have set up something like Hotplate or Simply Bread app. But Google Spreadsheets was really good for me to get started. So the ordering platform was really, really crucial. That allowed me to keep track of their orders and set up that really excellent experience from the very beginning and make it easy for customers to come to me. The next thing I did right away along the same lines was set up a way for them to contact me that was not my personal phone number and not Facebook messages. I didn't want to be trying to keep track of messages on Facebook, and I definitely didn't want phone calls or texts to my personal number. So I did a lot of research into a text platform. The one that I use is called Project Broadcast. I've been super happy with it. I'll put a link down in the show notes if you're interested. But what that does is a couple of things. It gives me a local phone number that my customers can text. They can call too, but I put, even in writing on my business cards, I say text preferred. And it all goes into this one app. They have a way to contact me. I have a way to contact them. And they can opt into my weekly text list where I send a text when my order's open, and it gives a little explanation of what's on the menu, what they can expect. If there's any upcoming changes or news that I need to share with them, I include it in that weekly text. And so that has been super crucial in getting new customers on my list so that they consistently stay in touch with me. Because I don't always post when my order's open on social media, but I always send a text. And so there's the other thing that texting system allows me to do is I have a keyword. Brand new people who are not on the list yet can send a text with the keyword to my Project Broadcast number, and that gets them on the list. It's not manual for me, it's automated, so all they have to do is text this word to my number, and automatically they start receiving my weekly text. So that has been super crucial in acquiring new people because it makes it really easy for them to stay in touch with me and for me to communicate with them. It's pretty uncommon that I'll miss a message or something will fall through the cracks that way. Whereas with Facebook messages, it's much more disorganized for me and not an efficient way for me to keep track of people. Now, if that works for you, that's great. Just make sure you have a system in place so that you can ensure that you're providing an excellent experience so that those people who are coming in are excited and the experience that they have with you is a professional one that builds trust so they'll stick around. Now, winding down my personal part of the story before we jump into some tactical tips. A couple of things additionally that helped acquire and then keep new customers has been sharing regularly on social media. Now, I don't have like a schedule with this. Social media is not my primary marketing platform. My business page isn't, I should say. So when I was getting started, Facebook was super important in bringing in new customers. What this looked like was posting in one local Facebook group that is specific to our area. I posted on my business Facebook page infrequently, but my posts in this location-specific group were in follow-up to that first conversational post. I shared another one that was a big thank you. It wasn't I'm selling bread now, but it was hey, your support, your excitement overwhelmed me in the best way possible, and I am so thankful. And then I said, I figured out how to bake a few more loaves at a time, and here's the link to order if you're interested. So immediately I brought them into my ordering platform rather than inviting them to send me a message. So regular posts on an ongoing basis of like, here's what's going on, here's what I'm offering, here's how to order. Those have been really important. But then also I continue at least every quarter or so to post those conversational and not salesy posts. So sometimes this looks like, hey, I'm working on my summer menu. What are some flavors that you'd love to see? And so that invites a lot more conversation. And when I sell out or when I have a great turnout at a market or a porch pickup, I'll share a post about that, again, with a huge amount of gratitude, always a lot of gratitude for support. And then just showing like, I am still in business, I am still having momentum, and people notice that. On a weekly basis, I have people come into my booth at the market and say, we came because we saw you on Facebook, or I've been following you on Facebook for months and I'm finally here to check you out. So those consistent posts, even if no one clicks like on them or no one comments, they're still being seen. People tell me that they found me just by searching, like searching for bakery or searching for sourdough in the area. So show up regularly. Show up consistently, even if it feels like it's not getting any traction, even if it feels discouraging and like you're just getting crickets. A lot of my posts get crickets, but they compound and people see them often, even though they're not interacting. And then every once in a while, one of them takes off and gets a ton of traction and brings in new people. And so another side note with those posts is that a lot of the Facebook groups require that you post from your personal account, not your business account. And so when I do that, I always tag my business page in that post so that they have a place to follow. I don't accept friend requests from people I don't know, but if I tag my business page, they can click over there and see what I'm all about and follow along and get updates from there. Clearly, I can talk about this for a while. I get excited about acquiring and then keeping around new customers. We'll go deeper, much deeper on this in future episodes. But for now, that's enough to get started. Let's talk a little bit more tactically about how to get your first customer. So step one is identifying and understanding your ideal client. What this means is just getting real nitty-gritty and understanding the person who you want to sell to. Understanding that your whole neighborhood is not your target market. Target market being the specific customer who is going to benefit most and get most excited and keep coming back to you and be willing to pay what you're asking, want to try your new offerings. Your ideal client is the one that you're most excited to sell to. And so the more you can drill down and really understand your client, the more accurate you're going to be in speaking to that person. So you want to ask questions like, what is their age range? Do they have kids? Are they single, married, living with roommates? Are they health conscious? Are they athletic? Are they young professionals who are foodies and want an artisan experience with unique flavors? I could go on. We'll talk more again in a future episode about identifying your ideal client. But for now, just kind of journal or type out or even ask ChatGPT. Say something like, I am starting a sourdough microbakery from my home. I need help identifying my ideal client. Can you ask me 20 questions to help me identify my target market? And ChatGPT will do that. You can even say, like, please act as an SEO expert, a search engine optimization expert. And so they will kind of step into the shoes of like optimizing your website for searchability. And ChatGPT will ask you a bunch of questions. And so you will just respond to those questions, send it back to ChatGPT, and it will tell you your ideal client is XYZ, they blah, blah, blah. And so using ChatGPT in that way to kind of get you out of your head and unstuck and give you tangible questions that you can answer can be really helpful. So what this does is helps you tailor your messaging and your products effectively so that you're talking to that person that you want to sell to and not just talking to the masses. The more you can get specific and talk to that one person, obviously you're going to reach more than just one person, but you're going to be reaching the buyers who are most closely aligned with the product that you're offering. The more you can do this, and it's not an overnight thing, it's a process, but the more you can do this, the more successfully you will target the right people and they will find you and get excited and keep coming back. Along the lines of keeping them coming back is creating an irresistible offer. So this is more than just baking great bread, and this may evolve over time. An irresistible offer could be something like a subscription service or a very unique flavor or a rotating menu where you share ahead of time what's coming, or even sourdough workshops. But just something compelling to attract the interest of your customers. Now, your entire menu does not have to be extremely compelling. I have basic sandwich bread, which honestly is probably one of the most compelling things that people come back for. But creating an irresistible offer is one of the components that will help keep people coming back, especially if you're asking people what they're looking for, refreshing your menu offerings periodically to keep them interested and excited and engaged. Now, along the lines of sharing your offer is making it easy for people to come to you. I've seen a lot of bakers pop up locally. I see a post every couple of weeks at least of someone who is sharing their sourdough. And I'm super excited about that. I love that. I think we need so much more good bread in our world. And I get excited when I see more people selling it because I have a limit. I do not think that they are competitors. We are pursuing the same cause. Anyway, that's a little bit tangent. But one thing that I see often is just the DM me to order, or they might post a bunch of pictures and then just say, I'm selling it. If there's no easy way to order, you're going to miss out on customers. If you can send them straight to a link, or if you have Project Broadcast or a texting app set up and you say, hey, text me the word bread to this number, and I'll send you a link to order. Something really simple is going to streamline the process of customers coming to you, and that's important. The fewer friction points, the fewer places they have to click or moments that they have to think, the easier it's going to be for them to come to you. That's one of the advantages of that weekly text that I send out. It has the link to order right there, so all they need to do is tap it, and if they've ordered once before, their payment information is saved and it's a super streamlined, easy process. And they don't have to exert a whole lot of brain power to order from me. All right, step 3 is promoting your offer strategically. So it's one thing to attract your ideal people. It's another thing to have an offer that they can't resist. But if they don't know about it, you're working for nothing. So you need to promote strategically to find those ideal people. A good place to start is in your inner circle. If you're connected with good friends, with family, they're going to be excited about supporting you to get started, get you some traction, some experience baking in bulk. But my recommendation is to branch out as quickly as possible. You don't want to be relying just on your inner circle for long-term orders. The sooner you can cast your net wider and attract a much wider customer base, the better. So some ways to do this, we talked about utilizing social media, but also you can get out into the neighborhood, into the community. I've seen other bakers bake a bunch of loaves and take them around their neighborhood. That's a great way to get connected to people you wouldn't otherwise encounter. You could pop up at a local business that attracts your ideal client and share on your social media and ask them to share that you're going to be there on a certain day for a certain time. And this is a great way to get new people excited about what you're doing. You may not acquire a lot of customers, but 1 or 2 new loyal customers will pay off dividends. As they keep ordering week after week, just 1 or 2 people per market is going to be tremendous growth for you, especially if they start telling their friends about you. Another way to strategically promote your offer is to bake some samples or mini loaves and send them with your business card or your QR code to places like maybe your partner's workplace or your workplace, or drop them off in teachers' lounges or fire stations or nurses' stations, places where people gather. You're sharing some samples of your product, but you're also sharing a clear and easy way of how to order more from you. Don't expect that to result in 20 new customers, but again, if you attract 1 or 2 or 3 new loyal customers at each touch point, that's going to add up. All right, step 4 is providing excellent customer service. So you're acquiring these customers who are excited about you and you are getting them to stick around. But if you are not making them feel valued and providing a really great customer experience, they're not going to stick around for the long term. They're going to find somewhere else where they feel more valued. This is important no matter the size of your business. If you are selling 4 loaves a week or if you're selling 100 loaves a week, it doesn't matter. You are still a business and you still should be mindful of presenting a professional image. So approach every interaction as an opportunity to build a relationship. These customers are not just people buying your bread. They are humans. They are bringing their food, this food that you have lovingly baked, back home to nourish their families. make sure that they know that you were really thankful for them and you value them choosing to come back to you. It is a choice that they are making to support your small local business. They have a lot of options. And so communicating that to them, whether that's just verbally or sending a thank you text after they order, or even a loyalty gift here and there. Sometimes I'll stick some extra cookies in someone's bag, and send a text like, hey, thanks for coming back each week. I'm so thankful. I stuck some extra cookies in your bag. Tactically, customer service looks like responding promptly to inquiries, if that's a text or a message or an email. This doesn't mean if they text you at 10 p.m., texting them back at 10 p.m. You can set your boundaries. I respond to inquiries within business hours, within a professional boundary. Another tangible way to show your gratitude and keep people coming back is with just a quick text of like, hey, Susan, thanks so much for ordering this week. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. Another component of customer service is responding to the less than raving feedback and responding to it in a way that is professional and humble, but not apologetic. So this could sound like someone texts you and says, hey, the bottom of this bread came out dark. And so in that instance, I would respond and say, I agree, that's darker than I would have preferred. I'd be happy to replace it in my next order, or you can stop by my booth on Saturday and pick up a free replacement loaf. I'm not going to bend over backward and be like, hey, I'm going to bake you a loaf, a one-off in the middle of the week when I'm not otherwise baking. But I will invite them as like, hey, I'll give you a free loaf next time, or I'm happy to replace it at the market where I'm already baking bread. So I'm quick to offer a solution. I'm quick to be humble and validate their concern. So customer service is a learning curve and definitely something that comes with practice. Step 5, the final step, is to foster ongoing relationships. Now, this is kind of a culmination of what we talked about. We've touched on this a lot, but some techniques and some strategies to foster ongoing relationships to keep people involved and excited and coming back is to be engaging and show up on social media. This doesn't have to mean that you're sharing every day or even every week, but people love to see part of the process, behind the scenes of what you're working on, what you're excited about, maybe a new flavor you're trying, and invite their feedback. So ask like a poll, which flavor should I have on the menu this week? Things like that will bring them in, keep them feeling like they're part of what you're doing a little bit and engaged. And when they feel connected and involved, they're more likely to stick around and keep coming back. When you're thinking about building a thriving business, you also want to think about building a thriving community alongside it. I've seen a lot of people, like first-timers will come to pick up the bread from me and they'll encounter someone who's been a regular. And that regular gets them all hyped up and excited. And so when you see people come together and get excited about your product, that word of mouth marketing for you is priceless. Building a loyal customer base is not an overnight thing. This takes a lot of time and a lot of consistency. You can't give up when it feels slow, when it feels like you're not getting traction. That's when you need to push through and keep on showing up. That's what's going to give your business that staying power and let you be the one that sticks around in your community. That time, effort, and investment is going to be well worth it and really pay off in the long run. So quick recap, the 5 steps we talked about were understanding your ideal client, creating an offer they can't pass up, promoting that offer strategically, providing exceptional customer service, and fostering ongoing relationships. With these 5 steps in place, your business is going to be set up on a trajectory for huge success. Whatever that looks like for you, whether that is maintaining 4 loaves a week or whether that's growing and scaling to a much larger business, either way, your customers are going to love you and keep on coming back for you. That wraps up today's episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. I am so happy that you have listened with me. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. If you haven't already, make sure you follow or subscribe to this show. And if you got some value out of this episode, it would mean the world to me if you would screenshot it, share it to your stories on Instagram, and tag me. I'm Caroline Bauer_sourdough. That way I can see where you're listening from and we can get connected. I'll reshare it so we can all get connected together. Thanks again so much for listening, and y'all have a wonderful day.